Hello, GMAN Division 5B. It's me, Chuck Manlock, your recapper, recapping Game Week 7, and I'm joined, of course, by Dr. Hep.
Hello.
Well, we had to do it today because I have stuff to do on the Wednesday, the Thursday, and then I have a tabletop tournament on the Saturday. So I still have to be painting, essentially on Friday, with the free time that I have. So we're doing it now. It's unfortunate we have two games that we haven't been able to cover this week because they haven't been played yet. But rest assured, as always, we'll get to them in the next game week. But we have some results to talk about.
We do indeed.
The first one we'll start off with is your game versus Richard's T.
Yeah.
I heard some nonsense happened. Mainly
some
interceptions.
Some nonsense happened. I for once decided to stream my game.
Yeah.
Was a mistake.
Yeah,
Basically,
Streamer Dice is the opposite for you.
Yeah, so apparently Streamer Dice works against me, and all intercepts that were ever possible happened for HST. It was a dumb game. Even he called out that was a dumb chance, like two out of two intercept chances, and he got them both.
Yeah, I would like to say it's a 1 in 36, but it's probably a little bit different because
and people, other elf players were like telling me that I did some mistakes. I should have done a block there and a block there, and I know.
Yeah,
he's a better coach as well. So
with it still looking for an interception, it just feels like you'll get intercepted like once every probably 36 games or something. It's something that happens, and I think a lot of people are kind of gung ho to just pass over people. You know, they do happen.
They do.
Now I see that you have well, we're going to talk about the teams obviously, but you have a leveled thrower from that game.
Yep,
hopefully
I do.
You picked safe throw so you can throw with impunity.
You think that, huh?
Yeah, I hope so. But I guess it does look like he outbashed you. He got those very fortunate things. But the fact is that it's a 1-0. It's a bit crazy that it's 1-0 if he managed to intercept you
twice.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say for myself that I had a really good defense run on his offensive. And then when I got the ball, and then he intercepted my 2-turn, basically.
Yeah.
And then I forced him to score. Then he intercepted that, so I couldn't equalize into 1-1.
Yeah,
basically.
Those games suck.
So I would say that my defense was solid on my first half and kind of okay on my second. So he intercepted my 2-turn. I got the ball somehow back, and then he intercepted the second throw as well.
A very grim result for Grim Dragsters.
Very much so.
Well, hopefully next week you won't be getting any interceptions, because that is unfortunate.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know.
But on to the next game. We have Raz's team versus a Grimtail Innovations Nurgle.
Yep.
And firstly, I'd like to point out that finally Raz has managed to get some points on the board. Well done, Raz.
Yep.
Hopefully next week you can be able to get yourself a win, and the season will look up a little bit more. But a pretty brutal game from both sides. 3 KOs inflicted for the Orcs, but 4 injuries inflicted by Innovations Nurgle. Looks like that claw mighty blow that he has now is really starting to pay off.
It seems like so. And the MVP on the Rotter and the MVP on the Black Orc, the MVP on the Black Orc definitely wins every time there.
Yeah, yeah. But you have to say at the same time, if we're looking at that Rotter, that tackle Rotter with nothing else apart from tackle, which I've hated from the beginning of the season. At least it might have block or wrestle now and be like a very helpful piece. So, yeah.
I mean, he has taken 2 MVPs from the team so far, so he is a valuable player. I guess somewhat. According to Cyanide.
Yeah, well, it's not as crazy as the dude I have. Is it in our division the guy who has 3 or 4 MVPs on the zombie?
Oh yeah,
he is. Yeah, that stupid zombie, Mr. T, in either this division or my last division.
It is in this division. It's King Can, it's Mr. T zombie.
Yeah. So That stupid zombie is even worse than the rat rotter. At least the
But
rotter.
it's dead now.
Yeah, it is dead. Yeah, thank God.
So,
The next game was our
oh well.
Dark Elf Mirror.
Yeah. Um,
And it ended 1-1. I think that kind of defied our predictions because we were like, this could be a score off.
yeah.
But it was a lot.
Um,
I think we did say we didn't want to predict it.
yeah.
We would like to say it's going to be a tie probably, but it
Yeah.
was a 1-1 tie, which is a lot more underwhelming than what we had predicted.
I mean, we told basically like that both of the teams were possible to win, so we
Yeah,
couldn't predict it because the teams were so like fair in strength or equal in strength, and I guess the result kind of shows that they are equal in strength.
absolutely. Yeah. I'm sure Harmore and
So,
Boltpot would be happy that this wasn't an elf game that just spiraled out of control for one person, especially
hmm
considering one of the elf teams had Mighty Blow, the other one. I think does both have Mighty Blow or just one? I know that one
um,
of them has at least 2 instances of it.
so one has a mighty blow witch elf into guard,
Yeah.
which was Hummel's team, and Bulderplop's dark elves got no mighty blow at all.
Okay, so at least it wasn't like the Witch Elf just went crazy and cast everything that it possibly could.
No. Yeah, so I don't know what did what in that game, but so Cosminum Baltimum got what in that game? Let's see. Now we're looking into. So basically, it did a score or a hit and then a pass. I guess it was the other Bloodsteppers or the Blitzers that did the killing.
And both teams actually got 2 casualties,
Yeah,
so it was fairly equal. I mean, the KO's more so for Harmel,
yeah,
so but they didn't seem to keep down Boltplop's team. They managed to still
exactly.
secure a result. So yeah, we didn't want to predict it, and we were glad we didn't because it was like a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Well done to both coaches.
Very much so.
Once again, the High Elves are high flying in this next fixture. They beat
Yeah.
Drastak's team 1-0.
Yep. I have no clue how the game went.
Let's see. Okay. Well, this was a High Elf team that gave away inducements, and they got
Okay.
bolted at one point, but the bolt didn't seem to matter at all because it wasn't like they stole the ball, they scored, and the High Elves were playing catch up.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, the High Elves also kept up the blocking to an extent. 35 blocks succeeded to 28 is not a massive disparity. You would expect more.
Yep.
If not more from the lizards, you wouldn't expect more so the High Elves to get so many, because
Mm-hmm.
lizards will sometimes struggle to block the High Elves because they can just dodge away on 2+s. But
Yeah.
35-28 is very close, and that's on the high end of an elf blocking thing. While also KOs and injuries inflicted were exactly bog standard the same. It appears that potentially the bolt either didn't he didn't manage to penetrate the defense of the High Elves once the bolt was used, potentially, or the Skinks couldn't do enough because of their 3 edge to pick the ball up, and the ball was recovered. Either way, what we're seeing is a 1-0 victory there for our high-flying High Elf team, coached
Yep.
by Nabla. 6-1-0 on the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's starting to become a legendary season for him.
Yeah. Someone needs to like swat him down because this week I played my other recap division, and we have another High Elf team that's also was undefeated and was
Mhm.
high flying the same way, but he lost his unbeaten streak this week. So yeah, someone needs to really break the back of Nabla's team, otherwise it's going to become a bit of a one-horse show. Either way, let's move on to our last game that's been covered for the game week thus far.
Mhm.
That is Animals team versus King Can's Hounds and the Gash.
Yep.
We disagreed on who we predicted would win this, or did we?
I believe we kind of. I believe I were the kind. You were the kind one,
Yeah.
and I were the realistic one about this one. I
Yeah.
believe, because you said like King Can, you can do it, and I was like, you can do it, King Can, but Animal's gonna take this.
Okay. Well,
I believe it was something
I do not remember any of this at all, so I'm just going to take your word for it. But
Yep.
what did occur was the human teams managed to outblock uh, the undead team, which isn't crazy considering King Cam was down white. So if you
Yeah.
think about it, he has his incredibly slow moving and easily isolated mummies. The ghouls don't want to be in a fight, so you just really have a single white, the 2 mummies, and the zombies. And with a
Exactly.
decent amount of guard on the human team, they can take blocks and 3 strength whenever they want,
Yep.
provided they're smart about it. KOs and injuries were equaled out to an extent. Obviously, any KO injury is going to be much worse for the humans because of how big House and the Gash bench was. But because of this, it looks like the humans were able to give as good as they got it, and also probably more so win the positioning battle, because that's how they won 2-1.
Yeah.
Not crazy. I just think that with the House and the Gash, and with more so the undead teams in general, they aren't that sort of robust when it comes to their offense and defense. They've got ghouls, which are pretty good, but they're still free edge. They're still fragile and a little bit weak. And if you lose them or they get trapped, they're a bit, then you have nothing else to them. While the human team is much more responsive in its build and all that. Has more 7 movement, more robust 7 movement, has 8 movement to it. And it's also the team that has an 8 movement catcher. And the 8 movement catcher almost died this week, but the Apo saved it according to Animal in the Discord. So
Yep.
That's very fortunate.
It's very lucky for him.
But what's also key is that a Blitzer scored both of those touchdowns. So Animal took, I hope, our advice of it's okay, get rid of the niggle or whatever. Doesn't matter if something Blitzer is dead, you can level 1 up in a game. And Verti was a new player at the beginning of last week, and he leveled it up in 1 game. So now that has Mighty Blow Guard or whatever he wants on it. So fantastic result there. A brilliant game for Animal. He got everything that he could possibly want out of that game beyond, say, a million SPP. What's realistic?
Exactly. Due to realistic facts, he got everything he wanted.
Yeah, precisely. But okay, well that was the game week. That was, as we say, we have two matches to still to play. So we're going to go over now to the actual table. It's not too exciting because of, we don't know 2 of the results. But there's one thing to point out very clearly, and that is Nabla is 6-1-0, 19 points up. And even if the players who haven't played yet, which are Zahu, Falcomerk, Benny Boo, and last one is Mego. Mego obviously is not involved because he's so far down. But the 12 points that haven't played yet, which is the former 3, they can only really close the gap between them and Nabla by 15. And only one of those can really close the gap. Or 2 of those can only close the gap between Nabla because one of those pairs are playing.
Exactly.
So we actually have a prediction tool to talk about the playoffs. Because I've always been like, I think this player can reach playoffs and all that. But luckily, a very, very helpful REBBL goer by the name of Dranar has released a division predictor.
Yeah.
So we can have a look at that. And we calculated it all in. We went directly to the API and pulled off all the results. We gave you a potential percentage of who can make what. And
it does.
Well, here it is. Anyway. So the striking thing is Memento Athletics, which is Nabla's team, has a 60% chance of making playoffs.
Yep.
He has a 20% chance of making the Challenger Cup. And the next most likely, at a very low 10%, is third. And third is him out of any kind of playoff. So it's a very low chance for him to end anywhere but first or second.
Exactly. It requires. I talked about this with I think it was Hummel.
Yeah.
That I talked about this in Discord, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm out of playoff and Challenger Cup," and Hummel was like, "But if Nabla loses all his games, you still have a shot to get over him. But I told him, yeah, but there's like 12 other teams that are also competing with.
Yeah, yeah.
That
We go down to your entry in this, and you have no chance of making playoffs, but a 0.01% chance of making Challenger Cup. So you're not out of
exactly.
it. You're not out of it.
Hey, it's 0.02 actually. and and like when you're talking about that, you got to realize, people, as well, that these stats aren't cut in stone, but they are counted on hard facts,
Yeah,
right?
pretty much. Uh, what was it? Raz can't make the playoffs mathematically. That's the
Exactly.
predictor is calculating you have no chance of making the points up in time.
Exactly.
But everything else is sort of like, it was all probability, and you can completely defy probability. But anyone with like a 9% chance of making playoffs, it is worth saying they have a very much a chance to be in there with a shout. Elf team,
Yeah.
you have to think about all the sort of the variables you can't truly calculate quite yet in any particular Blood Bowl game. Someone can
Exactly.
be diced for 6 games in a row. It can happen. Nabla's team can go on a death spiral, and considering he's a high elf team,
Oh yeah, very much so.
that can happen.
I mean, all of you might sit on a plane, and I'm just faced with like 13 other bots to play with because all of you have died or something. I don't know.
Yeah, literally, everyone could like drop out the league and rage quit and just leave someone like, say, I mean, I think like,
Sad.
yeah, Raz could be the only one left because you all rage quit because of some
Exactly.
some admin decision, and then he's like, by default, gets to go into the playoffs.
Exactly. So everything can happen, people. But this is the percentage that just shows. Are you showing the percentage?
Yeah, I'm not showing all the percentage yet.
Yeah. So basically, under, I would say, let's see, richest T, for example, you're very much not likely to get to some of the playoffs.
Yeah, Richard
Or
T
there's
is probably
one of the last coaches that can pull that Challenger Cup or playoff spot.
absolutely. And when it comes,
If you make it, if you're beneath that line, I'm gonna call you out and say very well done.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but there's most likely not a chance that you will get there.
Yeah, like
So to say.
there is a very minuscule chance that Harmol or Boulder Plop or King can make the Challenger Cup, but it's very, very unlikely. Basically, what is worth pointing out is obviously the Mento Athletics can be boshed off their top spot. It can happen.
Oh yeah, very much so.
But really, what I would also like to say is probably it's wise looking at the Challenger Cup as the thing that a lot of other teams are aspiring to.
Yeah.
Obviously, Zarat, Defense of the Anagrams, Demon Llamas, and Saucy Pigs can all give a very good run for the playoffs, but they're also probably more likely, if Nabla keeps his run going, they're more likely to be the ones challenging for the Challenger Cup spot.
Exactly. And you should take a look at this yourself for each week as well, as the stats will change for each week.
Yeah.
As well. So the percentage will actually change for each week because you're taking the current number. So you gotta keep in mind, people like Animal, Mego, people who haven't played yet their game, that your percentage will change as you play your game as well. And that might change some other people's percentage as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because this tool is so advanced that it will actually take in other people's calculations, I believe, into making it to your own.
Yeah. Yeah. And also the calculation is obviously calculating for teams that haven't played yet.
Exactly.
It does take that into account, which is why those 4 teams have higher percent chances than Animal, who just won his game and is second right now. But
exactly.
it's yes, it could change quite radically next game week. We'll look at each game week now alongside our actual looking at the table every week. But you know.
Yep. Exactly.
But that's how it essentially is shaking out right now. We now have a statistical way of looking at what is more likely to happen in terms of playoffs and challenger spots.
rather than just a number or points on a leaderboard that can change drastically.
Absolutely, yeah. So now we move on to looking at teams. A quick
Mm-hmm.
refresher of what's happened. We started with
Yep.
Rich's T's team, who has 1 level up, or 2 actually, is 2.
Yeah, I gave him 2 because I'm nice.
Yeah. Firstly, on his move up, Mighty Blow Blitzer, he is piling on, which is a yep, a more death, more destruction.
Yep.
That is a very good piece. The only thing it is missing now is probably tackle,
Yep.
and it's already just a star in its own right. And he also picked up a niggled linesman who now has dirty player. So
yeah,
that leaves the pitch one way or another.
So keep in mind, people, I can hurt stuff. Even though I don't have a mighty blow, I still niggle stuff. I still do damage. So
yeah, it's always horrible when like an elf team that has no mighty blow just takes one of your pieces out and then Apo dead to dead or something like that. It's like
yeah, when I kill two people in another team as elves, that's just too funny without mighty blow.
I hate it. But yeah, Rich's T team is very healthy. He has a good treasury, so he can replace anything he wants. He can think about getting his, if he hasn't already, let's look. If he hasn't got a stadium enhancement, he doesn't. He can start buying stuff for a stadium. But this is a very solid team. There was nothing I would change about this at all, apart from maybe Jim Jr. I would have given Mighty Blow or Stand Firm. I just think like tackle guard is just a little bit suboptimal to me. But at the same time, I can understand if you're playing an elf game and you're like, oh, I have an elf game or a dodge game for a few weeks.
Yep.
Tackle, why not? Because it is a league setting. It's not like
So this comes back to the podcast for a few weeks ago where Medal talked about the new Challenger Cup and everything, and the new way of building teams due to the new system. Where like if you're building to make the Challenger Cup, you're more likely to climb the ladder now rather than to just grind the ladder over the long time.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between like Stand Firm, Mighty Blow, like you're talking about, rather than to just pick tackle. Because there are no star players with tackle.
Yeah, I do see that. But my view, if I was Richard T's position right there, would be I am much more of an outsider for the Challenger Cup.
Yeah.
And he's probably known about that for about a game week or two, I would assume. Things can have obviously change because we haven't seen who's played yet. All the people who haven't played could just draw their games, and then
very much.
They're all on 13 points, and then Richard T is actually much more likely. We'll look at the statistics as they come. I'm not a stats head massively, so I'm not sure how much of a variance it could be, as we've been talking about. But I would still think that Richard T, for the long term, might have been. And with Wrestle already, it wouldn't be my choice, but Richard T obviously knows humans, does well with humans. So we'll defer to him.
Let's me call that out. That his Wrestle player did more than his Mighty Blow did.
Yeah, the Wrestle is fantastic. Wrestle is great.
to bring to a comparison, and should we switch over now to my team?
Yeah, Falcon
just real smoothly.
Your team got accurate on that thrower. Not the worst thing. Accurate's good, frankly.
Yep.
It's probably better than just like seeing 2 interceptions in a game where you can go, I'm going to pick safe throw in case it ever happens again. That's unlikely to happen. It can happen, but like I'm really someone who's against like tilt decisions like that, who are like, oh, well, I'll pick a skill because this one thing happened that was kind of an anomaly in my game.
And also, that player that are throwing the ball, Rankster, I don't want him to... If it is inaccurate, I'd rather have that than him holding the ball. Because he's going to be the guy that's going to dodge in and pick up the damn ball wherever it is. That's the plan, at least. But it hasn't so far worked out that bad. Good, but,
Yeah. But
it's a funny team still.
This team's looking alright. It hasn't changed much apart from that accurate.
It just sucks that he sponked my Sparky Pluggo, so I can't level him up.
Yeah, well, he levels up easy anyway,
But it's so annoying to just, like, get a catcher that's new out of the pitch, like, You know.
Yeah, no, that is fair enough. But we're moving on now to the other the Orc team,
Yep.
coached by Raz, and Raz got no level ups, but he did suffer some very annoying perms on his team.
Yeah.
We were talking a lot about how Raz's team was really coming along. Finally, it was looking solid in a bunch of ways, and armor down on the strength up guy, horrible. Block
Yeah.
linesman gets moved down, which isn't the worst thing in the world, but it still kind of sucks because it's a piece you'll probably have to fire. Yeah, brutal there from Raz.
Yeah, it just sucks overall to get those sort of things happening to you. But then again, hey, it's Blood Bowl.
It is Blood Bowl. You just kind of have to deal with it, and I'd still keep the strength up piece because he's already.
Oh yeah. Strength up on my AV8. He will literally stand up because he still have strength 4.
Absolutely.
So
So Haramo hasn't got anything.
nope.
Benny Boo's got nothing.
Nope.
Drastak hasn't taken his level up, so we're going to ignore him again.
Yeah, but he did take last week's, which were on a skink that got a diving tackle.
Yeah, that's alright. Yeah, I'd take that.
Because his skinks are like, he had already got 2 sidestep and 1 sprint.
Yeah,
Sidestep.
diving tackle's
So-
good. Although at the same time, it's a skink as a piece for me until you have a bench isn't something that should just be marking things. I still think you should protect all of your skinks anyway. So
Yeah.
some people will swear by diving tackle skinks, and it can work, especially for playing like a team like Underworld who can't really respond to that.
Mhm.
But against a lot of other
Yep.
teams, even things like humans and Bretonians and all that, they're fine with that because if you base it up one of their players, they'll either use their blitz to try and hit that with Mighty Blow tackle or whatever, and they're like, okay, now well that piece is gone. You have less 3.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's not my favorite pick. I would just prefer sidestep and then whatever. But it does have its uses as long as it's just like one skink every so often gets it.
Yeah.
Animal did get level ups.
He did. He got a lot, 2, actually.
He got edge up on the blitzer.
Yeah,
Most
which
people
is
that he
good.
leveled up his edge up. That's a really good pickup for him. One of the biggest issues of humans stuff that they're so average at a lot of things. They really kind of rely on the stats to sort of make them chug along.
Yeah, and this is actually fitting into what Animal have been talking about me with, where he just feels like he's playing more of an elfy side of humans,
Yeah.
where actually agi ups will help you.
Yeah,
Instead
definitely.
of strength ups.
I'm fine with edge ups because edge ups can at least help the blitzers disengage when they need to, and they will need to, absolutely. So I don't mind taking an edge up or a strength up before I take my guard.
Other
my
skills,
mighty blow.
yeah.
If
Exactly.
it was move up, I'd be like, well, I don't care that much. But
Yeah.
edge up is fine. It'll do so
It
much
is.
by itself. He's also gotten, I think,
The
Cloud.
tackle.
Oh no, yeah, he's got tackle. Yeah,
Liberax.
tackle. And as we discussed just now with Richard's team,
Yep.
I'm not a fan of guard tackle. I'm really not. But at the same time, because you were talking and you did make that point about going for the challenger spot, Animal is in a challenger spot position. He's he's high flying, so that makes a lot more sense to me. I'm not sure what his schedule is.
Making the games count now rather than later will take you higher into divs.
Absolutely. We have to see what his schedule is like. If he has like elf games and a lot of elf games, and a lot of dodge games in the future, then fair enough. But if he has none, then that is I think a mistake.
Exactly. Yeah.
But otherwise, his team is looking good. He now has to make a very, very hard decision with the thrower because now with 2 4 edges, the thrower really isn't needed, in my personal opinion. But it's up to him.
Looking through the schedule posts, he seems like he's up versus lizards, dark elves. Yeah, he's up versus elf.
Well, that's an absolute,
So the tackle is useful
that's
for
an
him.
absolute fine pickup for me. Then I'm perfectly happy for him to take that and support that. It's probably worth way more than an instance of stand firm or a little bit more mighty blow or whatever. So fair enough.
He's even facing the rats. So
yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. So that's a good pickup.
Very much so.
Support Animal. Now we go on to King Khan's Hounds and the Gash team. He picked up 2 level ups as well.
Yep.
He got 2 on ghouls. So the Sure Hands ghoul got something. He got block,
Yep.
standard, and Little
Yep.
Ripper got something, and that was block. Yeah.
Yeah. So he got 2 blood species now. Which is nice.
Yeah. He's gotten rid of the zombie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good, because that zombie needed to be fired, probably. His TV is now nice and trim as well.
Yeah.
But he's also got a very good bench to foul with. He's got 2 on the bench.
Yep.
His team is a very solid team. It's very effective. Quite vanilla. A lot of teams are getting their stat ups, their doubles, their edge ups, and all that. This is all built on normals. But it can function very well on normals.
Undead are one of the best teams. One of the best teams, some people would say.
Yeah.
Them and human and orcs will do very well on the normals.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I personally think that humans do need a bit of the doubles for a long term. And so do undead really need doubles as well, because otherwise, the lack of natural strength access really does hurt them. They only have the 4 strength access normals.
Exactly. And the thing that I was more talking about was that they really do well in low TV.
Absolutely, yeah.
As well. True. As we saw Ornan kind of just make the champions, because he had one of those teams that were high qualified in low TVs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There you go.
So, good team. Nabla didn't get anything apart from, I think he got an extra thrower, actually.
I'm going to check.
He always had that thrower. Because I feel like I would have picked up on that if he had...
No, that's new. It's new for the game, even. I believe he bought it up for the game.
Well, okay, let's talk about that. So, obviously you have 2 throwers, and I was like, 2 throwers? Well, why? And you explained your reasoning.
Mm-hmm.
Your reasoning was... you wanted one to be...
1 to cage pick up and 1 to throw, long throw.
Precisely. But the thing is
basically
that Disco Bowl is good in anything he wants to do. He's great at caging, he's great at throwing. I don't really see the point of a second thrower, because that is, you're paying... Sure, it's 20k, and only 20k extra for passing and also pass and say throw. So it's not like a horrible... inefficient price point, but at the same time you want to be spending that money really on getting all of the catches. So I just don't really...
I don't know either.
I don't know. 2 throwers for me. A lot of teams don't need 2 throwers unless they're going for something particularly spicy. I want to know what Nabla's thing is with this.
I can see a world where if he feels like he's getting down to like 9 players each match and wants a bigger bench, so he like, do I get another lineman, do I get another thrower, then I would definitely go for another catcher rather than a thrower. But it might also be the way that he was the perfect fit for his team, for his main plan. So it's exciting to see what he will come up with.
I really want to see what happens to this thrower, because even if he justifies it, it's a bit for me, you know.
Yeah, it might be if he gets sure hands and then kickoff return for that one.
Yeah,
I can see a world where that can happen, right?
Yeah, I can see that. Or like he's like, oh, this is such a great piece. Why should this 7 movement 5 edge piece is so good? Why should it just be a thrower? And you can
exactly.
I've seen people who are like, I'm converting my thrower into something else because he's a strength up piece. So I can see that maybe.
Exactly.
We'd like to hear from Nabla. Nabla, if you're listening, let us know, because we're kind of confused ourselves.
Yeah.
Mego hasn't played. Mego hasn't played. Bullet hasn't played. So finish your thought as well.
Bullet has played.
He has played. He hasn't got any level ups. That's the thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But Innovation does have.
No, Baltimore Ravens got a level up.
Did they? Hold on.
Yeah, they did on a lineman. Lineman Gardel got wrestle.
Yeah, they did get a line. Yeah, they did. I was like, I thought that. Yeah, we completely ignored Harmon because he was the Dark Elf team that didn't get level up. This one was the one who got the level up, and he got.
Yep.
What was it?
Exactly.
Was it just a wrestle?
Just a wrestle. Yeah, I mean a wrestle, and he got kind of beaten up because the runner got MG'd, right?
Yeah. Well, the runner is frankly a kind of a luxury player anyway.
Yep. It is.
And considering he already has a third reroll, it's not that important. It's nice to have something that's fast and has the ball, but it's also kind of fragile. So yeah, this is a very good team, as we've said. Volplop
very
is
much
only
so.
really missing the obligatory Mighty Blow somewhere, and this would be a pretty complete team, complete Dark Elf team for his first season.
Yeah.
But going on to innovation, let's look at his rotter. His rotter got Wrestle. He has now a Rackle piece. I like that. To be honest, it's going to be for a while you're building up that second Pesticle to be a Sakura or to be a Bull Carrier or whatever. It will be the one thing that you have to be a bit of a utility piece. Movement's not great, but it does have decent agility. I don't hate this at all.
I don't hate this team either. It's a good start for a Nurgle team, and his Beast of Nurgle has gained another 2 SPP as well.
Yeah.
So he's like hugging SPP down for each player as we go along.
Yeah. And when that gets stand firm, and when he has block on every one of his Nurgle warriors, he'll be kind of in a much safer position, I'd say.
Yeah, and the Nurgle warriors that have 4 and 2 SPP have that just for him hoping to get that MVP to land on them. I can see that.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's a good Nurgle team for one season.
Yeah, but he is now a little bit light on players. He can always replace them, but that's fine.
Yeah, he has 120k, so buying a Rotte isn't too.
I would probably, if I was him,
buy a Pesticle.
Yeah, you don't want to go too fast on the Pesticles, but I feel like with how low the TV is now, and considering how everyone else is rocketing ahead, you might as well get a third Pesticle just so it's like less rotters on the field.
Yep.
So yeah, a decent team, but the next teams Hugh hasn't played. I don't think he had a level up outstanding either. We'll quickly look over the team. I think this is all the same from last week.
Yep.
Oh no, he got guard on that edge down guy.
Oh, he did. Oh, then that explains why it wasn't leveled up then.
Yeah, he got guard. Okay, yeah, we like that. Guard's good. Guard's good.
Guard's good. Yeah, it is. Guard is really good on linesman.
So Zarhu's team once again having a Stormer, looking like a very good team, especially for a team that had to replace another guy.
A few players. Yeah, a few players.
Yeah, well, this team came in completely fresh, so...
Yeah, I mean, this team has developed a shit ton.
In 6 games, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So Zarhu's team is looking... Like, Skaven team do that, but, like, still impressive from Zarhu there, and especially considering the results.
Yeah. And McNaughton's Don't Play Me lineman team has done absolutely nothing because they are using it.
Useless. McNaughton once again showing why he had to flee to Big O to get any potential wins.
I just thought I would mention it so you can keep up a bit.
So yeah, if you're still watching these McNaughton, haha. I hope someone kills you.
I'm talking about the bye-week team.
Yeah, of course. I looked at the bye-week team, don't worry. But now we go on to our predictions now.
Yeah, for next week.
Yeah, let's do this fairly quickly.
Okay. Yep. Rats versus High Elves.
Rats versus High Elves. Hard decision to call. You know what? Because he's got an unbeaten streak, I'm going to make this bold prediction. The one turner is going to do so much for Zarhu that finally he'll end the unbeaten streak of the High Elves.
Nope. I think the High Elves will take this 2-1.
Well, you also have to remember that there's a lot of inducements coming for the Skaven. They have a wizard, which actually matters against High Elves in this case because of how fast they move. In addition, he can also pick up Glart, and Glart is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So I really do think that the Rats have quite a bit more about them.
I hope for the Rats, but I believe the High Elves will take this.
Fair enough. We then have Mego versus Hounds in the Gash. Mego's team we haven't seen play yet, so this is once again a hard prediction to make, and there'll be a lot of hard predictions to make. We don't know what kind of things he'll be getting in the next game week.
Exactly.
But obviously go on.
Because Mego's teams are kind of looking okay at the moment, and it could actually do some damage here. And it could steal a win.
It could steal a win, but it's also worth pointing out has Nagash, has the mummies are just way superior to the flesh golems, are stronger, they do
Yeah,
more
yep,
damage, they have guard.
Yep.
I just think that this is likely to be a 2-1 victory, if not, 1-0,
yeah.
2-0 for the
1-0,
House of
2-0. Yep.
Yeah. Baltigor Ravens versus Demon Llamas. Demon Llamas is a very good team. Baltigor Ravens
Yep.
also very good. I think they're now approaching equal, so 14-30.
It's a 20 TV difference
Yeah,
between the
so
teams.
there'd be nothing apart from maybe a scummed. Can he scum? Yeah, he can scum a babe if he wants. Animal can. So this is a hard one to call. With
Yep.
tackle, the Baltigors won't just be able to go and do whatever they want. Blodge will.
I think Animal will take this.
Yeah, I will say because of how good Animal's doing.
Yeah, and I counted the players of the Baltimore Ravens, and it is another lone alignment that comes in and replaces that runner. So it actually is like a 70k inducement favor for Animal.
True, but it's also, remember, 5-edge Witch Elf can do whatever
Oh,
she
yeah, true.
wants.
Very true.
So this is going to be a very
Very
hard
true.
game to predict, but because of how well Animal's doing, 2-1 for me.
Okay, yep, I can see that.
Next game is Innovation versus Dress Stack. So that is Nurgle versus Lizardman.
Yep. This is a very, very high one of those old teams that have played each other before.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
well, for minors in college and such. So it will be a fun game.
It will be a
to
fun
watch.
game. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be too hard for me to predict, just because I think more full strength on the Lizardman team plus more guard, more block means.
Yep.
I just think that just really will do much more. But the key thing is that probably this will be my prediction. One of those Sauruses will be going home in a body bag, or at very least in a cast. Pesco will be an absolute game changer potentially, and if the lucky removals just roll on, then you could see a shock win. But I think it's more likely just Rooney's going to win this one, probably 2-1, 2-0.
Yeah, 2-0, 2-1, 2-0, somewhere around there for Drastak. Sorry, Innovation. I really hope it's a 2-1 for Innovation's course. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Next we have Richest T's Humans versus Benny Boo's Orcs. We don't know Benny Boo's level up. We don't know how he did in his last game. So all subject to change. I really never favour the humans in this sort of matchup just because they're inferior to the Orcs because they just get outbashed. And the problem with Umis is they don't have like the adjunct that Animal has. So he doesn't have that factor to negate the bash superiority that Saucy Pigs would have.
Yeah. The problem I can see is that actually the humans outguard the Orcs unless Benny Boo picks up another guard on either the bye week or the game that they are gonna play. So it's gonna be an interesting. Totally depends on what Benny gets, right?
Yeah, definitely.
For level ups.
So because of that, I refuse to predict this game just because I think there's too much about it for me to really accurately say.
Yeah, same.
But I would say just my opinion that it's more likely to be an Orc victory just because I think Orcs, even if they're being outguarded, if it's only by one guard, then you can still just trap certain blitzers that do have guard and stop them from moving by just basing a Black Orc. Orcs can just base all men's whatever they want as long as they do it cleverly, and humans will really crack about half the time. So,
they are outguarded by 2 guards, actually.
I still think that you can still trap enough humans with that.
Yep.
Next
good.
is going to be the Bretonians versus Harmals.
Yep.
Dark Elves.
I think the Bretonians will got this in a bag.
Bretonians, yeah, they have the wrestle, so Blodge does nothing, or it does less. And with also the piling on Mighty Blow capacity of that Bretonian team. Let's look at the Bretonian team briefly, just to see and remind ourselves how good this team is. The 5-edge Blitzer. Frenzy means that the Bretonians can also do the whole sideline thing equally as well.
Yep,
so the Witch Elves will be less of a factor. And obviously, block Mighty Blow piling on is fantastic. Out
Yeah, and the two guards
two
and the
guards and one rock.
wrestle dodge. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
So
a good,
the
Bretonian team.
Bretonian team is phenomenal. There is only probably one better Bretonian team in
Yeah.
all of the rookie divisions, and that is probably Metal's one.
Yeah,
That
I was gonna call out Metal's one, but I believe his buddies. I can't remember his name. God damn it. There's one other team that is pretty good as well.
Oh, well, Gare Bear's team.
Yeah,
Yeah, the other one in his division.
yeah. Isn't that one pretty solid as well? If I remember
It's way
correctly.
it's doing well. Night Juggler is doing well, but it's way worse. Like his Mighty Blow tackle guy that Gare Bear has is niggled.
Yeah.
It just has less about it. It
Okay.
has a blocker with Mighty Blow tackle. It is worse, to be honest. It doesn't have the insane. Obviously, we're not talking about someone else's.
I'm looking at it now.
We're talking about someone else's division, I know, but it's really funny. The team is
It's
really
super funny.
really funny. He has a blitzer that is literally a level away from being on that level before Legend.
Mhm.
So he's
Mhm.
gone about 56, maybe close to 70 in a single season. What is it with Bretonian teams this season being that?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's crazy, but yeah, because
Scum.
of that, of how good the Bretonian team is, I just have to say Harmore is going to have a tough time. 2-1 to the Bretonian team.
Yep. Same.
And the last game is going to be you versus Raz. Battle of the basement there. Two teams struggling.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, you do yours first.
I will say you win this.
Mhm.
Because I trust you as my co-host. That's all I can say.
Thanks. I believe since his strength 4 is out for this game,
Yeah.
and one of his linemen is out, like they are down players. It hurts him more to have lineman loners than it hurts me to have loners.
Absolutely, yeah.
So the loner war here is won by me most of the time. And if he plays efficient enough and removes a lot of my elves, I can't most likely do a thing. But one of his mighty strength 4 mighty blow is gone.
Yeah,
So I believe actually I will take this.
Yeah, he only has the one Mighty Blow, which is
Yep.
a massive, massive thing. I will say you take this. Although obviously we want to root for Raz just because he's been having a hard time and everything.
Oh yeah, very much.
But at the same time, you're not going to root for him because your game versus him. Yeah.
Exactly. I still root for myself, you know.
Absolutely, that's a wise man. But that was the recap. That is the final prediction that we could make this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
game week 8 is what we're waiting on. So that'll roll over next week or next tomorrow.
Exactly. I just want to shout out. Don't forget about the shirt. The shirt is actually still live. I don't think we have a turn 16 foul yet. Don't forget the bounty board as well.
All of that will be in the description as was last week. So I've been on top of that luckily.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Remember what you could win. And of course, obviously, there is still no Fangs, that competition that is looking to single out werewolves and vampires for injuries and all that. That's still going on as well, so Mego is still very much a victim.
Yep.
But until next time, it has been me, Chug.
And it has been me, Dr. Greed.
And as always, best of luck for next game week. Hope you get your wins, hope you get your SPP, hope you don't get any niggling injuries. And we'll see you this time next week. But take care, everyone.
Bye.